Milan, I thought, probably the upper hand in the first half. In the second half, I thought Napoli had their chances. They weren't accurate. They didn't put them away. Piontek looked lively, but jury, I think, is still very much out on him and whether he's a better option than Cutrone.
Ancelotti getting sent off after the sending off. What word did he say, Matteo? No.
I'm going to keep my job.
Not the best game.
No, absolutely not, especially for Napoli. I expected more from them. Juve can go 11 points now clear of Napoli with a win away to Lazio, but I thought Milan, and Gab's absolutely right, they did have the upper hand. I thought Timur Bakayoko has had an incredible resurgence after that Chelsea stint where he was awful by all accounts, and Piontek coming in the second half really did give an extra bit. I think he has more skill overall than Cutrone. He's a better player to link up with. Cutrone is someone that you see in the link up in his passing. He's just not the player that you can really give it to him and he can invite those runs from the wide players. I thought Çalhanoğlu was one of the biggest mysteries how he still starts for Gennaro Gattuso. It is incredible that he's still the first name on the team sheet. It seems he's played almost every game. Donnarumma brilliant as well, but Milan maybe could have gotten even 3 points. They were by far the better side in the first half.
For people who don't know, Matteo, a big Milan fan, which you may have got a vibe from that. He's getting more and more angry as that answer went on. How do you fancy your top 4 chances?
The incredible thing is that Milan are in the top 4 despite playing quite mediocre, I think, as a whole for the first part of the season. And now with Piontek coming in, Higuain on the way out, there's just kind of a positive thinking of the team going forward as well. We'll see if Gattuso sticks around for much longer. I still think that there's better managers out there for what Milan want to achieve, which is the Champions League, and then maybe to compete once they get there. I still think they need to improve in some key aspects. You have too many mediocre players starting consistently for the Rossoneri, given what their ambitions are.
What are you doing if you're West Ham?
Look, for me, if you look at the Everton side that Silva rolled out, it was basically his first team. And what the...
Right, okay, Everton, I understand, needed a win because of their momentum and everything going wrong for them. But look at West Ham, and as much as you can say, yeah, but the players on the pitch should be able to beat this Wimbledon side.
But talk to the old players who's been in the FA Cup. Talk about, you listen to the podcast that we put out. The X factor is the ground and the crowd. The crowd absolutely live for these games. Millwall fans, Wimbledon fans today, it was their everything playing against West Ham and Everton. And you could hear it. They never stopped chanting. It's right from the get-go. They were absolutely... And you can guarantee that when the Premier League players came out in their warm-up, they were getting absolutely hammered. They were getting pelted.
And also, Paul, England's the only country where this can happen because of the way that the division's set up. If you go to the lower divisions in Spain, in Germany, in Italy, you won't even have stadiums that look anywhere like that. You're not going to have more than 50 fans showing up. I've seen third division sides in Spain, in Italy. It would never happen. So I think it's set up in England for this kind of brilliant spectacle, and unfortunately, you don't have that anywhere else.
Right. I think there's more history to the FA Cup and Cinderella's story, as you described it, Matthew. But from a West Ham perspective, listen, I understand how this will try to be sold from a selection point of view, that you've got the likes of Carroll and Hernandez who don't play regularly and they need 90 minutes to prove that they're good enough, and they will be called on between now and the end of the season. But time and time again, I think teams like West Ham and even some lower divisions use a decent FA Cup run to give that season, and indeed their league, a bit of a boost. Their league campaign, a bit of a boost. So now that hindsight is 2020, but you're looking back on it and thinking, how you mess this opportunity up, where you maybe can make a decent run in the FA Cup, where you can give the players something to look forward to. Now you don't have that. Now you've got the humdrum of the league to go. You're not finishing top 6, you're not finishing the bottom. Now what? Now what's to get the fans excited? What's going to get the players excited? Yep. It's disappointing. It really is.
Welcome into Extra Time. Don't want to know what we were just talking about.
Uh-oh.
Why's everybody laughing?
Finally, you have Matteo back.
Yeah!
See, they love me. Unlike you, Dan. Absolutely. I'd love to come back as much as possible.
What's the pin?
That's a Serie A pin, actually.
Oh,
God. Of course. I'm representing the league. I have to come and represent the league. Because I heard we have a few haters of the league.
Okay, the next tweet is for you as well, Matteo. Ask Bonetti to unblock me.
No. Next.
Wow. Do you, are
You
you,
don't know what it is.
I never block. I only mute. So he must have done something bad.
are you a frequent blocker?
No, I'm not. I mean, that's why he must have done something really bad. I don't even want to know the
Have
name.
you ever blocked anyone on
I
Twitter?
don't know how to do it.
No?
But you would if you could.
Shaka just left Twitter.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why is that then? You were massive on Twitter.
More questions from Matteo, I'm afraid.
Great. Hey, bang away.
Show, I'm
You
loving
just
this.
stay out of this.
If you wore a badge, maybe. That would a
Come
little
on,
pin.
keep it coming. We're gonna wrap this up.
That's sad.
Where would Juventus, Napoli, and Inter finish in the Premier League this season?
Bottom.
Ooh. Okay.
Nobody asked you.
All right, I'm gonna say Juve second wins the Premier League. They've gone to the Champions League final. Why else? That's the only measurement we have of leagues.
No one
against
said
leagues.
anything. Calm
No,
down.
you said what? You said what? You were being snarky.
Calm down.
You were being snarky.
Why is he shouting?
Napoli.
Why is he shouting?
Napoli top
He
three.
puts the badge on and he starts
Because
shouting at people.
I'm here to represent the
Matthew
league.
says second. No, they'll finish first. They went to the Champions League final. You said second.
Exactly.
You said it.
I wanted to see your reaction. That's why.
Second to who?
Inter top 10.
Second to who in the Premier League?
No, they finished first.
Finished first.
What do you think? What do you guys think?
Juventus? I'll tell you about Juventus. Third.
Behind who?
Liverpool and obviously City.
Obviously.
Behind Arsenal.
Obviously.
Up the Arsenal!
What about Napoli? Did you answer Napoli?
I did answer Napoli. You weren't listening.
Okay. Which Serie A club, aside from Juventus, would you suggest a neutral to watch?
What a fabulous question that is.
That's a good question.
Sampdoria.
Surely Napoli,
Seriously.
no?
it's Sampdoria this season. Absolutely. Small wage bill. It's a team that people
I
can
don't
get
care
behind.
about
It's-
the wages.
Small
but
wage,
it's
okay.
okay.
But people let me finish.
Let me man with the pin.
Listen, people.
Let the man with the pin.
Okay, so people want to follow kind of the underdog team. The underdog story always sells. Sampdoria have all that. They have a really crazy owner in Massimo Ferrero. They have Quagliarella, who's setting records left and right. And they play brilliant football under Marco Giampaolo, who, by the way, the successor of Maurizio Sarri and a better manager, I think.
Wow.
Absolutely. He's not as stubborn as Maurizio
Chelsea
Sarri.
fans would be after you.
No, they wouldn't, because they don't know.
Paul, can you show us this Sarri look now? We saw it from Stevie and Craig in the week.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
That was a good one.
Oh, another question for Matteo Bonetti.
Go on, son.
Come on, guys. Help
Come
me
on.
out here.
Who would you start, Cutrone or Pianti?
Oh, Piontek. Absolutely. You can play them together as well, Calcio fan blogs. But Christian Piontek, better player overall, better touch as well, and that's the kind of play that Milan won in the front line.
Why does Hacken stink so bad?
Is this all really for me?
Apparently, it's because you wore the pin.
It's this is actually inexplicable. I have no idea what he has on Gattuso. Maybe he has a few texts that can't get out, but he has something clearly on the manager because
Libelous.
he has
Lawyers
been,
are here.
No, but if you have a player that for 6 months is so underwhelming, the only reason you play him maybe is to keep him in the shop window. They tried to sell Hakan Çalhanoğlu to RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig said it was too much money, so stop. Pull the plug on the experiment and get rid of him in the summer.
Another question for you, Matteo. Do you sense an anti-Serie A vibe from Shaka?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I brought the pin.
Yes.
Explain yourself, Shaq.
For me,
Shaka,
You're a huge fan of Serie A.
that's what I thought.
I witnessed it today.
Shaka's just anti-everything.
Man, to you.
Where are you going on holiday, Shaq?
I'm not going on holiday.
He's going to Italy.
To Italy. Just to walk around and not watch any
I
games.
didn't say anything.
Final one is for Paul.
Uh-oh.
Is Paul of the opinion that his suit on Friday's show was in good taste, along with his hiking boots?
What's Patrick on about? Listen,
You looked to state, didn't you?
what do you mean I look to state?
Because you had your suit on, looked nice, and you had your hiking boots on the bottom.
So what was the reason I had the boots on? It was snow,
Right.
rain,
studio?
and ice.
In the studio?
No, when I was coming in the car, when I was driving, getting to the car, getting out of the car, walking to the studio.
Bring some shoes.
Yeah, bring some
shoes.
Wait
Yes,
a
man.
minute, wait a
Shoes
minute,
on the inside.
wait a minute. So when you're driving down, you've got to think about all possible things that could go wrong. What if my motor breaks down and I'm stuck at the side of the road?
Wear your boots.
Yeah, wear your
bring
boots
some
and bring
shoes
your
in the
spares.
car. It's like you wear
No,
them
no,
with
no,
your coat,
no, no.
And then when you reach inside, you take it.
No.
Do the same
What's
with
the
your
point of
boots.
that? I'll tell you what, I didn't think that the camera would go to my boots. You know who told them? Him! This fella.
Why did you do that?
Well, because I knew he would. I knew he'd do it. And I also told him, like an idiot that I shouldn't have done, there's a hole in my boot because I'd had those boots on for a year.
Well, they're free.
They were free from one of my sponsors.
Paul, you know what? Don't worry, you still dress better than Gab. That's all that matters, even tonight.
That's not saying a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
The Italian office now.
Man with the pin said it
Anyway,
Well, just don't do it again. You look like a right balloon.
you're going to say plum, though.
Plum. That is it, Matteo. Thank you very much. Took over.
Yeah, hey, well done, mate.
Can we get one of them pins?
Well done.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm mailing
You're not allowed with your anti-cereal.
No, that's an untruth. That's an untruth.
Is it?
I don't think it is.
Come on, wrap this up.
We're back tomorrow. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, all in action, plus some FA Cup games as well. Be sure to join us.
Well, I think it's fair to say, Taylor, and it's hard to imagine in these conditions, isn't it, that the US soccer program has been a pretty dark place for the last 15 months, ever since that infamous night in Trinidad. We've been awaiting this moment for some time. US soccer fans have been awaiting it. The debut for Greg Berhalter, the first chance to really start to put things right.
Yeah, well, one thing is you've been here for, 2 weeks? You got a nice little tan going on, by the way. Adrian, it's interesting. I think there's a breath of fresh air, not only because it's a 2019 new year or whatnot, but you said it. It's been 15 months where it's just been dark, it's been ugly, and I do have a lot of respect for Greg Berhalter because he's come in and immediately answered the hard questions, answered the easy questions, had a perspective on it. He's changed a couple things. For instance, the camp wasn't in Los Angeles. It was in Southern California in Chula Vista, which is pretty much soccer for 24 hours a day for 2.5 weeks. So I appreciate the way he's done it. But the reality is this: results and what happens on the field is the only thing fans care about, right? So we can overrate January camp games, which oftentimes we get caught up in that conundrum of doing so. But this one's a little different. They want to see a little something. You want to see a glimpse of what Greg Berhalter is going to give, and I think we're going to see that. I really do.
I was going to say, because of the process, because of how long it's taken to get to this point where Greg Berhalter in charge, is there now more attention, more pressure on what it would normally be a meaningless friendly?
Absolutely. You and I did a couple halftimes during the MLS playoffs last season about this topic. I think because of you waiting so long in U.S. soccer, you've put exponential amount of pressure on Greg Berhalter to have immediate success, where if you would have hired him 8-9 months ago, you would have this growing period. So neither here nor there, it's over with. So Greg's coming in, and I think Greg understands that, not only because his brother Jay Berhalter is a huge part of U.S. soccer. I think he understands that there's pressure, but it's not pressure on the Panama game, so to speak, but there is a little bit of saying, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to look. And I think if they get a positive result, then all of a sudden the tide will turn. But a lot of fans out there skeptical, and rightfully so.
Going to be a very different looking US team that takes the field here against Panama. Up to 11 debutants, 11 players potentially winning